Alright, perfect. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are once again to continue with the most incredible, the ultimate showcase of all time. My full collection, that you're going to see in a second, my full collection of video games, of PC games. We've finished round number 1, which involved RPG. Then we explored the RTS genre coupled with the real-time tactics genre. Be sure to stay tuned and check out those VODs just in case you're interested in expanding your knowledge about the different games that you could possibly play, recommendations, and more, such as technical issues. Well, I went one by one explaining the technical situation of all of these games. Right, so you have the complete collection of games, of recommendations, the best of the best, top of the line for you to play. Just in case you're interested, remember, the previous VOD is RTS and real-time tactics, and the other one is classic RPG, isometric action RPG, MMORPG, and modern RPG. Second of all, sorry that I'm late, I had to assist to a meeting, so I was pretty busy, but we are ready to begin. It will take me more or less 3 hours, as we are usually doing, for the third row, right? Yes, it's the third row. Tonight we are going to explore the beautiful world of first-person shooters. I'm not sure, maybe if we have time, maybe third-person shooters, but I don't think we'll have. We'll be exploring first-person shooters, then arena-based first-person shooters, as well as some third-person shooters. And there I have, well, I have something special for all of you at the end of the row, as I can see, so there will be a small surprise. But for now, let's begin with the first-person shooter genre. Alright, this is the original Wolfenstein, not the real original, the OG Wolfenstein from the 90s or the 80s? The 80s, I believe, I'm not sure. Maybe the beginning of the 90s. I always forget about that one, I don't know why. And no, this is the one released in 2008. Honestly, I wanted to make the original Wolfenstein run, but the technical limitations were so much, and well, I opted for the, I think it's a GBA port, could it be? I think it's a GBA port, something like that, a portable version. Just like Doom, I think they are both playable on the GBA. This game, the first modern Wolfenstein, it's a pretty tough game. This one has a lot of mechanics which are pretty complex. Among them, if you play on the hardest difficulty, you are unable to use the crosshair. It's true that you could use your monitor's crosshair. It's true that some monitors have the crosshair, but their own crosshairs. But no, I finished this game on the hardest difficulty without using the crosshair, something I'm extremely proud of. And since the original Wolfenstein is the one responsible for reviving creating the first-person shooter genre, and then Doom. First one was Wolfenstein, then Return to Castle Wolfenstein, as well as Doom. Sorry if I butchered the dates, I'm just using my memory. And I didn't Google before beginning the stream clearly. So, there you have it. Get this game, because this one is a true challenge. Afterwards, while I haven't played the most modern entries, here you have the New Order, then it's the Old Blood, Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus, and the recently released Wolfenstein Youngblood. While all of those are great FPS, I must add that Only the original Wolfenstein, the original modern Wolfenstein, has that special touch of difficulty, right? The other ones aren't as difficult as this one. So I highly suggest you first play that one without using crosshairs, so you can suffer and endure the true essence of its gameplay system, which is pretty great. Coming right up, we have the Doom collection, which I've played completely. This one isn't the original Doom, just in case you are wondering, well, why don't you have the original Wolfenstein here, but you have the original Doom? Well, the case of the original Doom, in this case, it's not that one, just as I didn't use the original StarCraft, as we mentioned previously, in the previous VOD. Sorry for the repetition, but here is the same case. Doom collection. This one, it's a modern fan-made recreation of Doom 1 and 2, both of them. It's not officially released, it's not kind of like sold, you just have to download it. I think it uses Unreal Engine 4, it was fan-made, as I was saying. You can play it with the original graphics, or you can play it with some crazy enhanced graphics, as I do. And trust me, you won't regret it, especially if you are kind of like not a veteran of the gaming industry. If you're a newcomer, if you are used to those modern graphics with a lot of lights and special effects, well, this is a great way of experiencing, with unlocked frame rates and gorgeous graphics, the classic mechanics from Doom 1 and 2. And it also has some expansions, so you can pretty much tailor every single detail, every single graphical detail to such a degree of precision that is incredible. It's incredible. It has a lot of graphical options, so I highly suggest you try Doom Collection. If you are a veteran of first-person shooter games and you love Doom, or you love the one released in 2016, which was my personal game of the year, not Overwatch, it's also a great way of rediscovering that beauty of the past that you experienced with a new face, right? With revamped graphics, with a lot of improvements. So highly suggest that one. Most people don't know that the Doom 64 game, which was exclusive to the N64 for more than 20 years, could it be, was recently released on several platforms, among them PC, of course. It plays best on PC, it's a first-person shooter. Please don't never use a joystick while playing an FPS. That's a sacrilege, don't feel offended, but that's a sacrilege 100%. It's imagine it as if I were your childhood friend. Man, never play an FPS with a controller. No, you will suffer. Don't do that to yourself. Take care of yourself a bit more. Moving on. We have the original Doom from 2016. This game was Game of the Year, 100%. Overwatch didn't deserve it. Sorry if you hate me after all of these things I'm saying, but they're the truth, and you know it. But this game is great. I love this game. I finished it on the highest difficulty. I still need to finish Doom 64. They all have custom artworks made by me. So this one plays at unlocked frame rates as well, just so you know. Well, of course, these ones are modern Doom and Doom Eternal. What could I tell you about these two games, which were relatively recently released? In the case of the original Doom from 2016, Game of the Year, You won't regret it. Ignore any person who says that this game wasn't as good as Doom Eternal. No, the thing is, Doom Eternal is kind of like perfection. It perfected every single mechanic present here, but this game is also the epitome of perfect game design. So don't be afraid, this game is great. Play it on PC, it looks great, it plays great. Even if you have a potato PC, don't be afraid, because unless it's something extremely outdated, pretty much any PC can run this one, and trust me, you won't be missing a lot of things when compared to Doom Eternal. Even though Doom Eternal is also easy to run if you have a moderately modern graphics card. Doom Eternal is modded. It has all of the DLCs and those things, but it's also modded. Why? Because this one has temporal anti-aliasing. I highly suggest you check out the forum, which is F, you can imagine what that means, F, temporal anti-aliasing. I don't want to be banned. And there you will see the difference and how to deactivate the temporal anti-aliasing present in Doom Eternal. Do so, do yourself a favor, and play this game without those that disgusting temporal anti-aliasing that they like so much to introduce nowadays. The first Rage. Well, I have this game just because of the second one, because I never played this one. And I heard this game is pretty good. I never changed the icon because it's kind of like the same as the other one, as the second one, sorry, but with a different color. So yes, it seemed reasonable to leave the icon as it was. This game is pretty short. I've seen a lot of gameplays about this one. It has good mechanics. Clearly Rage 2 is better, just like Doom Eternal and Doom, but there's a much bigger gap of quality between Rage 2 and Rage 1 when compared to Doom Eternal and the original Doom from 2016. So yeah, keep in mind this one may not have the it's pretty shorter. It's much shorter when compared to Rage 2. This one is semi-open world, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's mostly open world. I don't know. So check out some gameplay. Let me be honest about it. Check out some gameplays so you have an idea. But I know that there's a huge gap of quality between these two. All right. So don't judge the second one because of the experience you had with the first one. That's the idea. Black Mesa. Well, this one is also another case of a fan-made game, if I'm not mistaken, if we could call fans a team of professional developers over there at the Steam forums, because this was created with the license with the authorization of Bulb, of course, but it wasn't Bulb. It was an independent team, if my memory serves me right. See that I'm not using the internet or anything like that. This is kind of like old school memory, and I'm telling you everything I know. I'm sharing all of my knowledge as best as I can. This one has enhanced graphics. This one looks pretty good. I remember I played only the Zen level because of how good the graphics were, but I need to play this one completely. I never played the original Half-Life. Please try not to kill me. But I suspect I will like Black Mesa much more than the sacrilege I'm about to say right now, which is that I totally hate Half-Life 2. Yes. This game, I could spend my whole day criticizing this game and arguing how Halo 1 and Metroid Prime 1 were developed, or were released at least as well, earlier than Half-Life 2, and they were much better. Yes, I could argue all day that Metroid Prime 1 and Halo 1, they are both much better than Half-Life 2. If you were able to keep watching my video after I've said this piece, please feel free to comment what you think regarding Half-Life 2 in the comments, just in case you're watching this as a YouTube VOD. And I will try to respond with my arguments. But yes, Metroid Prime 1 and Halo 1, they are both much better than Half-Life 2, and they were released earlier than Half-Life 2. This game has little action. I played it completely on hard mode at 144 FPS with a modern version. Everything. I was expecting something out of this world, and I know what you are thinking. Yeah, but you played it several years after its release. Then you are not able to appreciate it because the technologies back in the day were much more primitive, and this game had a lot of innovation and the physics system and blah 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 blah. Yes, Metroid Prime 1 and Halo 1 were both released previously to Half-Life 2, and they are much better. Level design wise, graphics, the complexity of the environment, the complexity of the gameplay mechanics, the creativity at the moment of creating science fiction universes rather than one which is it's science fiction, but it still has a bit of World War II or post World War II heritage. If you pay close attention to Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 inherits a bit of World War II essence when compared to the other two, to Metroid Prime 1 and Halo 1. The same could be said for Halo, but the science fiction DNA is much stronger. I know it's difficult to imagine, to picture what I'm saying, but it's a solid argument, and I truly believe those two are better games. Even so, I will say that Half-Life 2 isn't a bad game. It's just not as complex as it could have possibly been. Besides, the plot is not finished. The plot is somehow wrapped up here in Half-Life Episode 2, and even so, it's not finished. It's a cliffhanger. You know it. If you don't know this by now, you should know it. If you are going to buy the game, you will never get a cohesively developed plot. So, if you were able to get through that one, I know that one was hard to swallow. Please try not to publicly stone me. Or at least before trying to do so, listen to my arguments. And now we get to Republic Commando. Star Wars Republic Commando. Well, this game is awesome. I played this game on the hardest difficulty as well, completely. I was able to mod this game. By the way, Half-Life Episode 2 and Half-Life 2, you don't need to mod them. If you need to mod them, I will comment on it. Which is the case of Republic Commando. Yes, you need to mod the executable. I think you need to hex edit it, but otherwise check out PC Gaming Wiki and Widescreen Gaming Fix. Those two websites will help you fix most of these games. And Republic Commando, once you fix this game, you have no idea how legendary, what an epic experience this game is. Well, drama, it has everything. Drama, a perfect Star Wars lore, much more mature, much darker, um, in which you are not a Jedi. You are simply a commando of the Republic, one of these Spec Ops teams. You are part of that one, and you can command your your squad mates, but with a degree of precision which was certainly uncommon back in 2003, which is the release date for this game, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, right before Knights of the Old Republic 2. That's why I remember this one. And yes, get this game immediately. This one is much better than Half-Life 2 as well, but then, well, this one was released after Half-Life 2, or was it earlier? I'm not sure. I think Half-Life 2 was 2003. Could it be as well, or 2002? I'm not sure. But yes, it must have been 2003. Well, it was pretty close, so I also like to compare them. You will also meet a lot of familiar faces from the Star Wars universe. If you like that, the lore is pretty good. The gameplay mechanics are pretty good, and the PC version is certainly the best. Don't think that these new versions released on the Switch, on the PlayStation 5, and all of those, no. This one is the best version if you learn how to mod it. It could be a bit troublesome, because the menus will still be on 800 by 600. If I remember correctly, maybe the mouse, you will need to lower the sensitivity a bit on the menus, but this is a great experience. Fully recommended. Go get this one immediately. And now we get to Halo, the Master Chief Collection. Well, what could I possibly say about Halo if I just told you that I consider Halo 1 better than Half-Life 2? Well, I will just add that this is the complete collection with all of the updates, the one they recently released, and they've been updating. I suggest you play Halo 1 first, because Halo 1 is awesome. Halo 2, well, the Halo 2 is beyond perfection. Halo 2 is beyond perfection, except for one slight detail, which is always sad. They should have fixed that for this edition. They should have fixed it, which is the fact that the ending is a cliffhanger when the original dev team had a completely different idea for the ending of Halo 2, right? It had a sequence pretty similar to the first one, to the ending we see in the first entry with the Warhog, and yes, I suggest you play Halo 1, 2, and, well, then you could play Reach, 3, and 4. And 3 ODST. I never forget about that one. But yeah, Halo 1 and Halo 2, mandatory. I played Halo 1. I played completely on hard mode 3 times. Both the original version and this one. I played Halo Reach on the Xbox 360 before this collection was released. I played Halo 1 on Legendary difficulty as well. That one was brutal. But I was able to push through eventually, yes. The same for Halo 1, and all of them, I played all of them on Legendary. Without skulls, of course, without skulls. Otherwise, I would be in a Guinness record. No, the Reach 1, 2, and 3, and I need to play 4. Yes, I never played 4 and 3 ODST. I was waiting for the release of Halo Infinite to kind of like go for Halo 4. Then Halo 5, I've heard it's an absolute mess. I don't think it's that bad as most people say, but clearly it doesn't have the quality of the other Halo entries. Halo Infinite. This one has offline versus bots. This one has offline versus bots. The bots are the best I've seen in a while, people. We need a mod. I'm waiting to mod this baby and allow for and unlock the, because you can only play in teams of 4 versus 4 in the case of the bots. But yeah, I'm waiting for a mod to unlock that limit and do 8 versus 8 or 16 versus 16, and it would be awesome because the bots here are godlike. They are, or human like to be precise, because I've tried it and the bots surprised me completely. I will talk a lot about the bots here, and then we are going to showcase that, because if there's one thing and one topic which I honestly think has suffered an absolute degradation, which has completely degraded in its quality. The quality is at the bottom of the barrel regarding modern video games, is artificial intelligence. You have no idea. That's why I'm going to give you a lot of recommendations about bots which you can use, and that will pretty much fix it will help you with your needs regarding arena-based shooters. But yeah, you can use Halo Infinite because the bots, I guarantee you, they are perfect. you won't regret it. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And why is it this here? Well, because this one is a special version. This one is a pretty special version. As you must imagine, this game was released long ago. The servers are completely dead. And this one has a pretty interesting thing going on, which is one of my greatest, not mine, because I just found how to do it. I just learned how to do it. I found the knowledge and I learned how to do it from another person. But this one, how to install this particular copy of Advanced Warfare. This copy of Advanced Warfare bypasses the online check to access a lot of the game modes. Alright? So, if I click here, I haven't shown that for the MMORPGs, but if you click here, you can see Exo Zombies, Exo Survival, Multiplayer versus Bots, and the campaign. Alright. This game, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, introduced a lot of interesting gameplay mechanics for the Call of Duty series. And it had a lot of great game modes, such as the one you just saw. In fact, those that you just saw. Exo Zombies, Exo Survival, Multiplayer versus Bots in this case, and campaign. Right, the Multiplayer versus Bots, it's part of the magic behind this singular copy, because this copy replaces human players. It allows you to create a lobby without human players, without internet connection. Remember that I live in a third world country and the internet connection could go down, even though it's true that recently it's been much better, as I've been mentioning. It's been much better. It's much, the outages are much more scarce. But just in case, I have this copy of Advanced Warfare. This one is the ultimate definitive version. Unlock frame rates, everything, and with all of the modes available that you just saw. It's pretty sought after, this version, because it has the Exo Zombies and the Exo Survival game modes, which were exclusive to this one. It's different from the zombies mode that you know, the classic zombies mode from Call of Duty. Just in case I want that zombies mode, which is kind of like creating a fortress, I use the next one, which is Call of Duty Black Ops 3. But yes, this one is terribly difficult to find. This version is I'm deeply proud of this version because I know it's much superior to any other version that you could possibly buy or get. It pretty much has everything. Pretty much has everything. And it has multiplayer against bots as well. Which on veteran difficulty, with all of the zombies, with all of the enemy marines, with all of that, trust me, it's not a walk in the park. And I'm just there, trying to reach the highest score possible. That's how I practice FPS games. Call of Duty Black Ops 3, same story. This one, it's my second jewel of the crown, let's say, because it's the same case as the previous one. The other one has the exclusive Exo Survival and Exo Zombies mode, but this one also has multiplayer against bots, the classic Zombies mode from the Black Ops series of Call of Duty games as well. Because in Exo Survival you have to kind of like escape. You have to escape from the zombies. In Call of Duty Black Ops 3 you are kind of like retreating, right? So you are just trying to survive and retreat. In this one you have to actively get through hordes and hordes of zombies, similar to another game, a classic, which is which one was it? Left 4 Dead 2. It's a pretty similar case, just so you have an idea. Left 4 Dead 2 combined with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. This game had excellent gameplay mechanics. Black Ops 3, as I mentioned, great game. This one is over 100 gigabytes. I don't know why they were unable to optimize this one, because there's a huge difference in size between this one and this one, but they are both great games. They all have their unique weapons, they all play great, they are all exquisite cuisine of the FPS genre. Don't underestimate those two. And World War II, well, the same for this one. I have multiplayer against bots. I don't need to connect to the internet or any of those disgusting practices. So I have veteran bots, which are pretty tough. I have the zombies. I have everything. I have the candy machine, that one. I have everything. Everything I need is here and here. And last but not least, Call of Duty World War II. The same situation. This one is another one of those exclusive, impossible to find versions in which the connection with the server is modded, and I can play zombies and multiplayer against bots on my own, practice as much as I want without listening to disgusting degenerates insult me through a mic. Good. No, and besides, people think that bots are stupid, but there are certain games which have perfect bots, and the artificial intelligence is pretty polished. And speaking seriously, you truly improve a lot. You truly improve a lot. Now, if the bots are trash, well, you are going to get kind of like used to doing trash tactics, if you know what I mean. You will end up getting used to play terribly bad. It's the case of League of Legends, Dota 2. It's those cases. So yeah, but in these ones, on the veteran difficulty, all of the modes against the bots are beyond perfection. If you can find any of these 3 versions to install in your system, do so immediately. because they won't last long. They are pretty exclusive, and it's difficult to or mod the servers yourself, because that should be they should have released an offline patch for all of those Call of Duty games, but no, for all of these Call of Duty games, because we are showing them right now. But highly suggested you try those three, especially if you want bots. Those three, they have the best graphics, the best bots, the best gameplay mechanics. So well. So grab those three because they are out of this world with all of those, with the servers modded. I think you begin to see a pattern in which I love to reverse engineer games which have permanent connection to the internet. Yes, that's the case. I hate this disgusting trend which is forcing permanent internet connections. I hate it. Call of Duty 2, well, this is the best Call of Duty ever created. End of the story. End of the story. This one is the best the toughest Call of Duty ever created. The best Call of Duty ever created. It has unlocked frame rate despite its age, so don't underestimate this. You don't need to mod it, just be sure to install the updates for this one, which is 1.03. I finished this game on veteran difficulty, and it's one of the most difficult games I've ever played. I also finished Advanced Warfare and the rest of all of the Call of Duty games, all of them completely. Just as I told you, I finished all of the Halo games except for 3 ODST, 4, 5, and now Infinite, because I was waiting for Infinite to kind of like have an idea of this new Reclaimer saga. Well, I played. I'm just lacking this one, the campaign, because I play the arena mode, as well as this one. I need to play the campaigns instead of just killing bots and practicing my aim. This one is the best. You should first, before grabbing any Call of Duty game, you should first get through this one. It's kind of like the initiation, right? At least I consider it like that. If you can get through this one, you can get through the rest of the Call of Duty games, maybe except for another one I'm going to say, but if you can get through this one, especially the final level, you are prepared for pretty much everything. Call of Duty World at War. Well, this one I think it has a problem in which it deletes your saved files. The same for this one if you don't update them. That's why I recommend you update them. They don't need mods. They have unlocked resolutions, unlocked frame rates. They are technical marvels from Activision, from the good times of Activision. So yeah, they are both World War, so World War II. So I also grouped them with this one. This one is also pretty good. But yeah, it's impossible to compare to this one. And well, World at War is also good. But this one, you all know. I finished this one as well as on veteran difficulty. I finished all of the ones I'm mentioning on veteran difficulty. This one, not this one, not Black Ops 3, and not World War 2. I'm just lacking those 3. Well, this is the remastered version. And since this is a remastered version, I want to check out if it's as difficult as the original, because the final level in the original, I could never finish it. The epilogue, not the final level, the epilogue. Kind of like the plane mission. Well, that was the only level in the history of video games that I played that I was unable to finish. The plane level. The epilogue is the epilogue. But yes, if this game is the same as the original, It has to be brutal. I finished the original except for the epilogue, as I've said. It's absolutely brutal on veteran difficulty. Expect absolute annihilation, especially on the final levels. And I need to replay this with the remastered version, and I want to specifically verify if it's as difficult as the original. Well, as a second place prize, you could play this one if you couldn't finish this one on veteran difficulty, or Modern Warfare 3. I also like Modern Warfare 3 as well. It's the end of the story. They never remastered it yet, so I'm waiting for that. Black Ops 1, well, this one is also pretty brutal. If I had to pick, it would be the first Modern Warfare. World at War to some extent, not that much. This one is the worst. And, well, let's say in a second tier, I would place Black Ops 1 in terms of difficulty. Black Ops 2, it's the absolute, there's a huge drop. There's a huge drop in difficulty and, well, quality as well, but, well, I don't have, these versions are not modded. I don't have the zombies mode for these ones or multiplayer against bots. I concentrated everything in these three, which have pretty much everything, and the most updated game engine. The mechanics are pretty much the same. They never changed them. I researched a lot, and the physics and the gameplay mechanics are pretty much the same. Maybe that you feel a bit more of weight in these games, but that's pretty much it. If you want to feel weight, well, let's ignore Ghosts. I played Ghosts, and I never played the Infinite Warfare because, whatever. I'm going to play them eventually. But if you want to feel weight, you should play the Battlefield series. And among all of them, my favorite one is Battlefield Bad Company 2. If you want to laugh, play this game. If you want to laugh, play this game, because I usually don't laugh while playing, and this game made me laugh for the entirety of it. The entirety of it. The full playthrough, I was laughing. I got killed a lot of times because of that. The dialogue lines are hilarious. The first Battlefield Bad Company, I need to play it because I think it's the same, but it was exclusively released on Xbox 360 and PS3. Yes, it was. And I have the Xbox 360 version, but I still think that it couldn't get better than this one. This is the best Battlefield game ever created by a long shot. Second, Battlefield 3 would be a close call. Pretty tough. Not as much as Call of Duty. Gorgeous graphics. You will be surprised by the age and the graphical quality this game has. The relation between the release date and the graphical quality of this game. As I've said, the main difference is that the weapons in Battlefield, they are much more similar to Killzone, or to be precise, the other way around. The weapons in Killzone are similar to Battlefield because you feel a lot of weight when you are running, when you are shooting, etc. Well, you will realize that I'm lacking Battlefield 4. I completely finished Battlefield, this one all on the hardest difficulty, otherwise I don't play the game. I finished Battlefield 4 relatively recently, 3 years ago, yes, and that game sucked. It was stupid in every single possible way. It was a total letdown when coming from Battlefield 3. Not only the campaign was short, which was a constant situation in recent Battlefield games, but it also involved some stupid mechanics involving tanks, destroying tanks, I finished it. I finished Battlefield 4 on the highest difficulty. It's a technical marvel with if you played with 3D audio and those things, but I uninstalled it. It didn't justify the insane size of that game because, well, maybe someday I'm going to reinstall it, but that game was disgusting, pretty much disgusting. There's a huge lack of quality. I need to see if they redeem themselves with this one. I never played it, which is Battlefield Hardline, and the one which I think I'm going to enjoy is Battlefield 1. And here we have the apparent disaster of Battlefield 5. I need to try them. I need to try the campaigns, and if the campaigns are short, uninspired, shallow, I'm going to uninstall all of those because they are an insult. I mean, Battlefield 4 was the limit. It was the bare limit. Any campaign in any Call of Duty game is much better executed. If they care so much about multiplayer, they should go ahead and see the pile of crap they just released with Battlefield 2049 or whatever that thing may be called. Whatever. They should see if it will work, that stupid formula. They should go ahead and try it. I finished this one. This is Medal of Honor, a reboot from 2013, if I'm not mistaken. I also played the previous ones, which I cannot remember the names, but that they use different engines with Operation Market Garden and something like that. I finished all of them, but the campaigns were so short, I uninstalled them once I finished those. Medal of Honor, Warfighter. I don't like short campaigns, as you can see. The same, I finished this one. These two, if you liked Call of Duty, these two are pretty much Call of Duty. They're pretty much Call of Duty. They don't have a cohesively developed campaign. They have gorgeous graphics. If you liked Call of Duty, those two are kind of like clones. They are not Medal of Honor games. Medal of Honor games were released back in the 6th generation for the original Xbox, Frontline, and all of those. The Operation Rising Sun and those. These two are Call of Duty Medal of Honor, Call of Duty Medal of Honor 2. Pretty much. They are pretty short. The campaigns are pretty short. Good graphics, but it's the same as Call of Duty. Even the situations are the same as Call of Duty. It's true that one of these has a desert level in which it's semi-open world and you face some mounted cavalry or something like that. I cannot remember. They have somehow semi-open world mechanics at some point, but they are Call of Duty. I finished this one. I finished those two as well. I finished this one. I never touched. I need to try this one, and this one. The First Crisis, great game, great graphics, but not better than Far Cry. Make no mistake. This game, back in the day, had, well, what could I tell you about the classic phrase? But can it run Crysis? Yes. But the gameplay system, while it's good, you can pretty much solve every situation by using the camouflage gear, the invisibility gear. You will catch every single enemy by surprise. I finished it on the highest difficulty at 30 FPS back in the day, so that's a double achievement. And I need to try this remastered version to see if my 3080 can do the job. But yes, I finished this one. I never played this one, or this one. Sorry. I need to try them. Alright. I just ensured I could run them. They are all of the updated versions with the DLCs and etc. Far Cry 2. Fortune's edition. Well, contrary to popular belief, this game is awesome. I know people like the first one and the third one. I played them and I like Far Cry 2. Probably the most unpopular opinion ever, but I like Far Cry 2. Far Cry 3, because this one has a lot of realism. The how's it called, the disease, the one you have to take the pills to combat, it's the malaria. That you face. I think it's a pretty interesting game mechanic. I don't think it's annoying. It's part of the gameplay. I love the physics. This version is unmodded because while I've seen a lot of graphical enhancements, I think Far Cry 2 looks gorgeous. It doesn't need mods. The game is great. Only the ending. Just like a lot of games that I've been mentioning. Just like Half-Life 2, the ending, it's an insult. It's an absolute insult. We should be able to kill that degenerate at the end of the game. We should be able to kill the warlord and everyone in there and bring justice and peace. I don't believe in relativism, so no, thank you. Yeah, we should have been able to kill pretty much all of the gangsters, of the low life scam that the game presents you with. Pretty much that's why I love this game. I love this game much more than the others, even though you are not able to fulfill that purpose. Just the ending, but the rest, it's pretty well executed. Don't let anyone tell you this game is outdated, because it's not. Unlock resolution, unlock frame rates. I didn't mod this game. If I remember correctly, I didn't mod this game. Far Cry 3, well, an absolute step down from Far Cry 2. This game is written by a 5-year-old kid who is bullied by his older brother. Sorry. That's what I get as a conclusion from the script and the plot and the characters. Pretty much, that's it. The plot for this game is written by a 12-year-old, by a 5-year-old, without trying to insult 5-year-olds, because they are much more intelligent than the person who wrote this plot. I finished this game on the hardest difficulty, and pretty much, it's not a bad game, but it's not Far Cry 2. And the plot can be annoying. If you are moderately mature, the plot for this one can be pretty annoying. As for the rest, the gameplay mechanics were pretty good. That's pretty much all there's to it. It's pathetically easy. This game is pathetically easy. You won't die. Nothing at all. No, you will never die. And if you die, it will just be at the beginning. If you eventually die, it will just be at the beginning of the game, because you don't have some of the basic upgrades. But no, if you are looking for difficulty and a realistic experience, this is the way to go. Not this one. I finished this one as well, and this one is everything. This game is everything Far Cry 3 should have been. Right? I bet you also agree with me if you played all of them. This game is everything Far Cry 3 isn't, and it could never be. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, it's a short expansion, but get this one and play it. You don't need to play this one in order to play this one. Legendary. This game is legendary. I wished back when I played these two that Blood Dragon, I would have wished Black Dragon was the main entry. This one should have been Far Cry 3, and this one should have been the expansion. Far Cry 4, never played it. I need to try it. I hope they follow this one and not this one. Far Cry Primal, I love the fact that they used cavemen and prehistoric times. That's an unexplored part of history in the gaming industry. Then Far Cry 5, of course, and New Dawn. Dishonored. I couldn't play any of these. As you can see, I kind of like go in order. I first want to play the classics. Dishonored. I finished this game on the PS3 on the hardest difficulty as well. And this game is great. I usually don't like stealth, but this game I liked it because you can take different approaches. I finished this game without killing a single person on the highest difficulty. Yes, I never played the DLCs. Which this game has some, which are pretty interesting. But this game, I don't like Bioshock. See how weird I am. I don't like Bioshock, and I like Dishonored. I don't like stealth mechanics, but I like Dishonored. So, congratulations, Arcane Studios, because... And I didn't like the previous entry of this game developed by the company, which is Arx Fatalis or something like that, from 2007. So, congratulations. I love the British Victorian architecture present in this game. I love the setting. I love the ambience, everything about it. The gameplay mechanics, I love that you can finish the game without killing anyone. And according to how many people you killed or just knocked out, you'll get different endings. I think the game has a lot of good values for people. I deeply admire this game because it's pretty subtle how it tells you how it exposes corruption, which is the main theme of this game, and you should totally play it. See that I don't like stealth. I don't like Metal Gear. I never played that. I don't like those stealth games. I can barely stand stealth mechanics. I want to kill everything. Even though I showed you Shadow Tactics Blaze of the Shogun, I like stealth mechanics when they don't force you to use them and not fight. In Dishonored, you have to kind of like mix. Well, I will kill that guy, but then I will skip those two, that patrol, then that electric gate, I have to disable it. For that one needs to die. There's no way around it. If everything fails, you can always kill someone. You can always fight. But to be honest, I finished this one. See how good the game is that a disbeliever, such as myself, was able to finish this game on the hardest difficulty without killing anyone, knocking all of them out, and without triggering any combat situations. If I triggered a combat situation, I reloaded. So see that even this game was able to change how I perceived the stealth genre. So that's why I like this game a lot, contrary to most stealth games. I love the graphics, everything. The engine they used, pretty legendary. So I'm waiting to play Dishonored 2. I still haven't tried it. And Death of the Outsider and Prey. I pretty much became a fan of all of these. But I want to replay Dishonored with the DLCs before getting to the other ones. Homefront. I need to try this one because this one is pretty old when compared to its recent release. These ones aren't that good. but I played just a few levels. But well, these are all pretty much influenced by Call of Duty and Battlefield, so you pretty much imagine what you're getting into. They have semi-open maps. So, Sniper Ghost Warrior 1, 3, sorry, 1, 2, 3, I don't have 1, I haven't touched any of these. I need to try the series, Contracts 2. Alright, and now we kind of like finish with those. I kind of like grouped the ones which have sequels here and then the individual entries here. Tribes for Vengeance. This one is a pretty old FPS. 2005, if I'm not mistaken, 2006. But this one was created under the same engine as Unreal Tournament. It's pretty similar. But play this one. I play this one. I want to play this one for the campaign because it's pretty good. I love the aesthetics of early 3D FPS games and third-person shooters from kind of like when before ambient occlusion was introduced, because they kind of like had their unique graphical style. I mentioned that during the analysis for Advent Rising, which is a pretty similar case. Tribes for Vengeance, I highly suggest you try this game if you like Unreal Tournament, because the campaign won't disappoint you. I played some levels and I haven't finished it. And if you like Unreal Tournament, play the campaign on the hardest difficulty. I think you cannot play against bots with this one. So the multiplayer was shut down long ago. So play it for the campaign and you won't regret it. Area 51, you don't need any mods. I think it supports widescreen resolution right off the bat, but I'm not sure about that one. Maybe I modded that one. I know it plays at unlocked resolutions, but yeah. Area 51, another classic RTS game. Another classic RTS game. And while this one doesn't have extremely polished gameplay mechanics, I also suggest you try it. If you like those, if you like FPS games from the original Xbox, from that period of time, from the 6th generation, especially the graphics of the original Xbox, these are pretty much right up your alley. Pretty much the graphics are pretty similar to Halo 2. And Area 51 had a sequel. I haven't played this one, I need to do so. Which is Black Site Area 51, a lot of years later. This one is modern. I think this one you need to mod. You need to mod this game in order to play it with unlocked resolutions. Yes, I think so. Black Site Area 51, the sequel. If you like this one, you will eventually have to play this one. In this case, I suggest you try this one first. Or, well, if you cannot fix it or whatever, you can always play this one and then play the other one, as you wish. But try them. Give them an opportunity because they are worth it. This one, I only suggest it if you're a fan of the FPS genre. Here you will be facing mythological creatures. This one is like a movie. I'm not sure if it's based upon a movie. I don't think so. It has good production values. It has a good budget, but this game doesn't have the quality of the previous ones. I even see that I even for this game I looked for a custom cover because the original icon I remember was extremely pixelated. Painkiller Hell and Damnation, get this immediately. This is the modern incarnation of Painkiller. A lot of people complain about this game on the Steam forums. Ignore them. The game is great. It has unlocked frame rates. pretty awesome graphics. Ignore any person who says this game is not as good as the original Painkiller. While they may be right in some way, it's not fair to say this game to say that this game isn't good. This game is perfectly fine, and I highly suggest you try it. Go ahead, get this game, and you'll remember my words, and you won't regret it. If you liked Doom, if you liked Wolfenstein, at least the modern incarnations, maybe not Wolfenstein, but yes, Doom. If you like Doom, you'll probably like this one. Pretty fast combat, pretty fast FPS mechanics, so you won't regret it. Singularity, well, only play this one before eating, because if you play this one after you had dinner, you're going to puke. That's the reality of the situation. It has some. This one is not for the faint of heart. I played some levels of this one. As you know, I don't like BioShock, but I do like Singularity. It has some screamer moments similar to Metro, but it's not like Metro because the ammo isn't scarce. You will see that I don't have any game with scarce ammo. I like to shoot. I don't like ammo scarcity. I don't like survival mechanics. I want to shoot as many bullets as needed to kill anything in my way. So none of these games that I'm showcasing will force you to starve for ammo. You will always find enough ammo to get through. You'll always have enough ammunition. And Singularity is a borderline case, but you have your powers. It's just like Dishonored. So you will be facing mutations. You will be trapped in time. It's a very. You will feel fear. You will be frightened, just like Yoda said to Luke during the 5th film in Empire Strikes Back. Oh, you will have it. You will have it. Yes. Syndicate. I'm going to showcase this one from 2012. This one was the last FPS developed by Raven Software. Keep that in mind. This is one of the last. Yes, this is the last FPS developed by Raven Software. Then they went on to help develop some Call of Duty games, but this is the last FPS from Raven Software, so I have to truly recommend it. I truly recommend you play that one. The same could be said for Syndicate. This one is a reboot from a classic series from the 90s, which was based on a totally different genre, a totally different concept, which was squad-based tactics or something like that. The game is very outdated. It's a cult classic, but it's very outdated. This is a first-person shooter. Technically, this game is made by Electronic Arts. Back when they did pretty impressive, when they created pretty impressive games. So get Syndicate, because while it may be shorter than other FPS games, I haven't tried it. We're going to showcase it on stream soon enough. The technical aspect is marvelous, and the gameplay mechanics are pretty good. Alright, so take this one as a Battlefield game done right, with a lot of technical improvements and those things. You could even consider this one a distant precursor of Titanfall. Just like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. This one for different reasons. But no, it doesn't have mechs. Bulletstorm, the Fall Clip Edition. This game has awesome graphics. This game has awesome gameplay mechanics with the whip and everything. I finished this game on the hardest difficulty, and I'm pretty pleased with the results. The original Bullet, this one is from 2014. The original Bulletstorm is from 28. Could it be? From 2008? Yeah, from 2008. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. But this one, the Full Clip Edition, is from 2014. Get the Full Clip Edition with all the DLCs and everything. This game has a cliffhanger as well. Another case of games that should have had a sequel. Games which should have had a sequel. 100%. So, but yeah, try this game regardless of the lack of a proper ending, because play this one, especially if you like the Gears of War series, because it uses the same engine. It's made by People Can Fly, which developed Gears of War Judgment on the Xbox 360, which it's a great game. I don't know why everyone always says Gears of War Judgment wasn't as good. I think Gears of War Judgment was better than Gears of War 3, honestly. I know I'm the worst, and I have the most strange tastes, but well, I have my reasons. If eventually someone wants to listen to my arguments, feel free to ask, because I have a lot of logical arguments, not just criticism to Half-Life 2 and those things. No, I have my personal arguments. BioShock Infinite. Well, while I hated BioShock 1 and 2, they greatly improved the gameplay mechanics for BioShock Infinite, so I thought, to the point, it was much more similar to Dishonored, and thus, well, you can imagine that if I like Dishonored that much, BioShock Infinite is pretty similar, but it's dystopian fantasy, but well. But the gameplay mechanics are much more similar to Dishonored than to the originals. Especially how you handle weapons, how the game handles weapons and aiming and shooting and etc. Call of Juarez Gunslinger. I need to try this game. I'm not a fan of the Call of Juarez series, but this one is the last installment they released, and I wanted to try it. I haven't done so yet, so I need to try it. This one is from Ubisoft, and it seemed pretty solid. It's a western, as you can imagine, so I like westerns from the US. You guys have a great culture over there with Red Dead Redemption and those things. I wish I was born in a country with that particularly interesting culture. Well, Alien Rage. But well, we have our own things. We have our own culture and our things. Well, I always loved the classic American Western series. For example, The Mandalorian was perfectly, for me, it was perfectly executed for me. It was creative for people like me. Alien Rage. This one is pretty interesting because this one, the next one I'm going to show, and the next one, Enemy Front, I'm going to showcase. These two are developed by CI Games, the same developer behind where is it? The Sniper Ghost Warrior series. If I'm not mistaken, it's the same developer, CI Games. CI Games, yes. Originally, they released Alien Rage, and yes, this one is much more similar to Doom. A pretty forgotten gem this game is. It's pretty tough. It has arena-based combat to some extent. As you can imagine, you fight aliens. It's pretty tough. It uses CryEngine. The same for enemy front, and it's kind of like arena based. It's pretty similar to Doom 2016. So if you liked Doom 2016, this is my recommendation as well. While it's not as long or complex, it's a great alternative. If you get that one and you get enemy front, when you combine both of them, you will have a pretty decent amount of gameplay time for you to for you to satisfy your needs of fast-paced combat, FPS combat gameplay, right? Just bear in mind if you like more slow-paced FPS mechanics, you should be looking at something like Call of Duty, not Call of Duty 2, not Call of Duty 4, but maybe some of the later entries. For example, the ones I've been mentioning with the custom servers, right? They will be much more slow-paced, or Far Cry or something like that, or Dishonored. If you're looking for fast-paced gameplay, well, go for Alien Rage. Maybe in enemy front it's not as fast, but it's the same engine, it's the same people behind it. So yeah. Speaking about that, here we have a hard reset. I haven't played any of these. I'm waiting to finish the classics, for example, I don't know, Far Cry 4 and Battlefield Hardline and the classic series. Hard reset, this one is made by a relatively small team. Well, I would still call this one a AA game. Also pretty fast mechanics, borderline arena based FPS mechanics in the vein of Unreal Tournament. So yeah. I suggest this one. So yeah, if you want fast-paced shooting mechanics, hard reset is also for you. It's pretty tough as well, so keep that in mind. Shadow Warrior 2. In this one, you use melee weapons, and the recently released Shadow Warrior 3. I love that after all of this time, they kind of like kept the art style for the icons on the PC version. I think they are much better than the covers, so I would never think about replacing them. They are pretty original with the numbers there, so pretty great games. I am not planning on playing the first one. I think it's way too outdated when compared to Shadow Warrior 2, because they used a totally different engine, if I'm not mistaken. So, and we get to Titanfall 2. Someone should mod this game and add multiplayer versus bots. Someone should definitely do that. This game was made by Respawn Entertainment, which was composed of former Activision employees, so former Activision developers. So it's pretty much Call of Duty, but with a lot of improvements. I want to play the campaign because I've heard it's pretty good. It's pretty epic. And it's pretty similar to Advanced Warfare, which I liked a lot. This one I played the campaign. I just, on the hardest difficulty, I just use it nowadays for the Exo Survival and the Exo Zombies. And eventually, I love replaying the campaign because it's relatively easy. It's a walk in the park. And well, even on the hardest difficulty, but it has some good ideas, and well, if you liked this one and you get the version I've been talking about, you could also try Titanfall 2. The first one is exclusive to Xbox 360 and PS3 and Xbox One, and I'm not sure about the Xbox One. No. And it's online only, so now it's trash. Now it's absolute trash because they didn't preserve the legacy of the game. I hate it when the game is online only and the developers don't care about the legacy of their games. If by now they were unable to understand that games as a service shouldn't exist because they destroy the legacy of this incredible industry, I just simply reverse engineer the game if it's possible, or otherwise I don't get the game. As simple as that. I am sick of those policies. Warhammer 40k Space Hulk Deathwing. I don't know why on Steam this one doesn't have positive reviews. I don't know why. Because I played some levels of this game and I haven't finished it, but this game is pretty awesome. If you like the Warhammer 40k universe, you will love this game. Ignore the reviews. This game is pretty good. It may not be as long as you could expect. It may not be as perfect as Call of Duty 2 or Halo 2 or Metroid Prime, but I don't understand why people didn't like this game back in 2016. This game is great, and it's the spiritual predecessor of the recently released Warhammer 40k Necromunda Hired Gun, which I also recommend. Elderborn, they also have a bit of not Necromunda, but this one it's arena shooter as well a bit. It has a bit of Unreal Tournament DNA in some of the camera movements and those things and the mechanics. Elderborn. I cannot say a lot about this game. It has nothing to do with the recently released Elden Ring. No. And pretty much by now, you can see that we don't get a lot of new FPS games with an epic campaign and those things. They are mostly survival horror, which I don't like. So they don't have enough action. So Elderborn was a pleasant surprise. It has pretty high reviews on Steam, and the game definitely deserves it. I haven't played it a lot, but I played a bit, so I more or less have an idea of the gameplay system. I need to finish this and watch some gameplay and get this game, because it's kind of like the swan song of the FPS genre alongside Bright Memory Infinite, which uses, well, this one uses a lot of ray tracing and all of those things. But notice this, because we are done with the FPS group. Only long-standing franchises of the FPS genre. This is very curious. Only long-standing franchises of the FPS genre were able to prevail, to stand the test of time, because you can see there aren't a lot of new FPS games with an epic campaign. They are mostly games as a service. This is the case of a genre which committed suicide, as I see it, because yes, it's extremely popular. This genre is not on the brink of death, but the campaign and the arena modes for the genre, yes, they are pretty much dead. I wanted to do, in fact, a bunch of game recommendations of FPS games with good bot modes, let's say, with good arena modes, with good artificial intelligences, that you can play endlessly and endlessly and endlessly. And I've seen a lot of people, careful, because I've seen a lot of people ask for that, and the industry is not delivering. The gaming industry is not delivering in this department. We need more games with arena based bots and those things. 100%. But yeah, pretty much see that this one is from 2016, could it be? No, this one is much more recent, 2017 or something like that. This one is 2016, so this one is 2016 as well. Here we have Shadow Warrior 3, released some days ago. You could argue Wolfenstein Youngblood, Doom Eternal, Rage 2, the Halo Infinite. But for example, see, there's not even a single new Call of Duty game without permanent internet connection, so sorry, I'm not doing that. I will prevail. No. This genre has been recently extremely beleaguered by the games as service policy. You see that only Bright Memory, Infinite, Elderborn, and few more survive. We almost have no new entries of any FPS games. As I said during the previous stream, if you know about any modern FPS game with a decent campaign, maybe you could name Serious Sam. I didn't like that series at all. If you know of any of those, tell me in the comments section, just as I told you last time about real-time strategy games released between 2008, 2009, between 2008 and 2014, which is kind of like the depression period of the RTS genre, the most depressive period of the RTS genre. Right. So we are going to get to the next row in a second, but I need you to give me a second because I need to go to the bathroom for a sec. Be right back. Don't you worry. All right. Sorry. I'm back. I'm back. I'm ready to begin with the second subgenre. There you can see I have a separator. In case you are interested about learning about all these custom icons I've done so far for my collection, you see most of the games have a custom covers. Yes, I edited them one by one. I explained all of that during the first VOD, by as you can imagine, if I repeat that for every VOD in the series, this will be everlasting. It will be eternal. I will never be able. It will be endless. So, just in case you are interested about all of the tricks I have here going on to display all of these games and have immediate access to them, I can launch any of them immediately without launching any platform. Just check out the first VOD in which I explain everything. Basically, I want to have immediate access to all of these games, just like the good old days. So yeah, and these separators and everything, they are divided into subgenres. This was the first-person shooter genre, pretty classic. It began with Wolfenstein, as I've said, then returned to Castle Wolfenstein, Doom, all of it. We begin with the second subgenre, or with the first subgenre of the FPS genre, arena-based shooters, and the precursor in this case is the Quake series. Among all of those, I picked the Quake 3 Live version. This is a very special version of Quake 3 because it has updated graphics. You don't need to mod this game, just be careful about some of the graphical options because it has a lot and some of them can kind of like turn your screen into... Yes. They could make your screen extremely bright because they're kind of like the blind mode or those things. Just be careful what you touch regarding the graphical settings for this one, but if you learn how to calibrate it, it doesn't need mods. This one, most people forget about this one. This is the lib version, Quake 3 lib, not the original Quake 3. This was the same game, but with better graphics. The gameplay is much more smooth. It's a smoother. It has unlocked frame rates and pretty good graphics for the time it was released in. The Xbox 360 has a similar version to this one. I think it's the same, but this one is the best. You can play against bots. Bots in Quake games are pretty much brutal. And well, Quake and Unreal Tournament, they are clearly the precursors of the arena-based FPS genre. Another arena FPS with unlocked frame rates. This one is much more recent, from 2005. No, wait, but the Quake 3 lib version was released in 2012. So this one is more modern, but it's still Quake 3, so this one has better graphics. This one doesn't have arena mode, even though I had to place this one here because it's from the Quake series. I call this Principle of Attraction. Principle of Game Icon Attraction, let's say. Principle of Game Attraction, in which if it's the same series, well, I group them together, even if this one doesn't have arena-based gameplay with bots. You cannot play, and you cannot play this. This one you can play the campaign, but not the arena mode endlessly. In this one, yes, you can play endlessly with a lot of crazy rules. So, well, there you have it. Unreal Tournament 2, which is actually Unreal Tournament 2004, which is a different version from Unreal Tournament 2. The second precursor of the arena-based FPS genre. Unreal Tournament 2004 is the best version you could possibly get. These games, especially Unreal Tournament, they are unforgiving. The bots here could humiliate any pro player you could possibly imagine. I know that for those of you who are younger, you may think I am bluffing. I am not. Ask your parents or any other veteran player. You may find the bots in this game on godlike level are godlike, are unforgiving, and they could mop the floor with any pro player from by today's standards. So I usually use this one when I truly want to practice. That one or this one, which is the one I highly recommend. This one, if you want a challenge, the Black Edition is this one. If you want a challenge, if you want fast-paced, arena-based FPS combat, if you want to be killed over and over and over and over again, or if you want to troll your friends and tell them you think you're a pro, well, play this one. Win a match against the artificial intelligence in this game, and, well, I don't think they will be able to do so, especially if you increase the amount of bots present in the match to the point it turns into a warfare rather than a team-based firefight, similar to Counter-Strike here. It turns into an all-out war, and trust me, you won't survive this. Even if you get all of the weapons eventually in one round, on godlike difficulty, this game is the epitome, the most paragon and perfect example of artificial intelligence done right. If you think gameplay against bots is a joke, you haven't played this game, you weren't even able to finish the campaign for this game. And trust me, I was unable to do so because of how brutal and insane this game is. The campaign mode, the arena mode, all of the game modes, capture the flag, whatever. Not even Halo Infinite with its almighty bots can get close to how perfectly programmed the bots in Unreal Tournament 3 are. This game humiliates Fortnite or any other arena-based shooter ever. Period. This game has no equal. Next up comes the Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This is pretty much extremely difficult as well if you turn up the difficulty for the bots, but it's not the same. As you know, what could I tell you about this one? This is a classic. It's not as forgotten as Unreal Tournament 3. This one is sadly forgotten, and I truly think it deserves much more praise. But well, this one, know that it's fully playable. The bots are pretty good regarding the artificial intelligence. So, the same. But this one is a classic. It doesn't need any kind of comment on my part. The same for Team Fortress 2. This one you can launch. You can do all kinds of crazy things. You should mod this one because if you are able to properly mod Team Fortress 2, you will get access to a lot of interesting tools, and the fun will be literally endless with a lot of new modes the community has been creating. This one has a lot of community support, not only mods for kind of like scenarios or those things, but also game modes, everything you can imagine. This one has a lot of support. Left 4 Dead 2, another classic FPS from Bulb. I suggest you play this one if you liked the Exo Survival mode that I've been mentioning from Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and the Exo Zombies mode, because it's pretty similar. You know, Left 4 Dead 2. No, it has classic gameplay. You can't go wrong with this recommendation. Pretty much, you have to play this game. The bots are pretty good with some mods, and it will be pretty challenging. The same for Payday 2, and this one has also a lot of game modes. The same for Payday 2. This one has similar gameplay, even though this one wasn't developed by Bulb, but it has a pretty similar gameplay to classic Bulb FPS games. If you liked Left 4 Dead 2, Team Fortress 2, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, you will probably like Payday 2, even if it's not from Bulb. The same could be said for Half-Life 2. So it's pretty much classic gameplay, so you can't go wrong with those. Star Wars Battlefront 1, the original, most people forget about this game, and I don't know why, and it gets me totally angry, you see, because this game, well, it's not as good as the second entry, Battlefront 2. As you can see, the covers are all custom made, and this game has some original ideas. I suggest you mod this game. This version is modded because this one has enhanced FX graphics. I suggest you do so because it can look a bit outdated without those brightness mods. But if you do so, highly suggest you try this one. Now we get to the most famous entry, the last game developed by Pandemic Studios, except for Lord of the Rings The Conquest that I have there. The most famous game developed by Pandemic Studios. This is a work of art. I suggest you heavily mod this game. This one is heavily modded. Not only the cover, it is also internally modded to include a lot of scenarios from Knights of the Old Republic 2, from different games developed by LucasArts. The community is very active. It is constantly developing different mods for this one. It also has graphical mods that you can explore, and I highly suggest you install them because with mods this game looks great. not only that, the mods will also fix some of the bullet impacts the game has, which is very important, because the gameplay mechanics for Battlefront 2, for vanilla Battlefront 2, are mostly clunky, I must admit. Even though I finished this game a lot of times, you cannot imagine how much I played this one as well as the first one. And yeah, I truly suggest you try these two, but especially Battlefront 2 from 2005 with the mods and everything. You won't regret it. It will fix the bullet impacts, as I've said, which is the worst part of vanilla Battlefront 2. Alright, so mod it, add a lot of levels, increase the graphical quality, the resolution, and the graphical effects with the mods, and once you do all of that, you'll get a fine gem for you to enjoy. The Lord of the Rings: The Conquest. Now, the last game developed by Pandemic Studios based on the Lord of the Rings. After they developed this one, they felt confident, and then they went for this one. They also developed The Saboteur, which is pretty good, but it's in collaboration with Electronic Arts or something like that. I don't know. These ones are kind of like pure Pandemic games. This one involves a lot of melee combat, but it's pretty much the same idea behind Battlefront 2. If you're looking for bots, this game is perfectly fine. Remember to update it. Remember to update this game because version 1.00 has a game-breaking bug during level 3. I don't know how they forgot about that one. But The Lord of the Rings: The Conquest is a great alternative. It is a great alternative to Battlefront 1 and 2, just in case you lapped those. If you lapped both of those, The Lord of the Rings: The Conquest is pretty much a safe bet. It's a safe bet if you liked Battlefront 1 and 2. Remember, this one, heavily modded, and you will have an absolute gem. I think it's by Harrison Fogg or something like that, the mod. I did it long ago because I couldn't live without this game. This game has... I have transitioned this game from different computers with different mods, so yeah, pretty much the epitome of quality, Battlefront 2, especially once you fix the bullet impacts. Shadowrun. People forget about this great game from Asobo Studio, no, FASA Studio, in collaboration with Microsoft, released for the Xbox 360 as well, but this is the best version. And this one is one of the worst cases ever that I was not sure I could fix this game at some point, because first you need to unlock the frame rate, which is capped at 30. Then you need to fix a pink screen issue. Then you need to update the game to version 1.3. You need to do a lot of things. I don't recommend you try it unless you are a masochist, as in some weird way I am with all of these games. The thing is, I'm very passionate about them, and I have the time to spend fixing all of them. This one is fully fixed after a lot of research, after a lot of time. It took me several weeks. But yes, this forgotten game is similar to Counter-Strike mixed with some crazy over-the-top mechanics. The community is alive. Yes, the community for this game is alive. And if you like arena-based games, you could try to play this one. As I've said, if you have a lot of time, I'm telling you the truth of the matter, the reality of the situation. Shadowrun is a pretty good game with nice graphics for the time it was released in. It has some interesting mechanics. It's similar to Counter-Strike, but terribly, terribly, terribly difficult to install. So I suggest you if you have a lot of patience and time, go ahead. I encourage it, but only if you do so. Then don't get frustrated because it's pretty difficult. There you can see the cover I used. It was even difficult to get the cover for the artwork I do. Section 8 Prejudice, go ahead. But you have an unlimited fun against bots because they are pretty good. You also have magic powers, everything you could ask for. So yes, endless fun, but at a very high price. At a mentally exhausting high price. At a mentally exhausting price. Section 8 Prejudice. Section 8 Prejudice, it's another excellent example of Halo done right. I would suggest if you want to play Halo against bots, you play this game, not only Halo Infinite. While the bots aren't as good, this is pretty much Halo. The weapons are even similar to Halo, and with a mix of grand scale conflict. I don't know how to express it, but imagine Battlefront 2 proportions with Halo gameplay. Alright? It's pretty open world for an arena shooter. You have to fight over objectives. So highly recommended. Highly recommended. The bots are on point on the highest difficulty. They are not a walk in the park. They are pretty tough, but not as perfect as, let's say, Halo Infinite or Unreal Tournament 3. Next is the version from 2012 that everyone ignores and I like so much. Here's the deal with this game. Here's the deal. The original fans from the original Nexuis don't like this game because it's not like the original Nexuis. This one is dead, and I love playing it on my own with the bots, which are pretty good because it's pretty similar. The original Nexuis is pretty similar to Unreal Tournament. It's pretty similar to Unreal Tournament. This one is as well with gorgeous graphics. This one, it's an indie game, but it's not an indie game. It's a AA game, but with absolutely gorgeous graphics. This game uses CryEngine, and if you're looking for a modern incarnation of Unreal Tournament, I suggest this version of Nexuis from 2012. You can play on your own without any kind of connection, as I've been constantly saying. And don't let the original fans from the original Nexuis tell you that this version is worse, because this version rocks. It's pretty tough, it looks awesome, it has unlocked frame rates, etc. 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 Scourge Outbreak. This is a third-person shooter. Up to now, all of these are first-person shooters. Well, you can play Battlefront 2, the Lord of the Rings, The Conquest, and the first one. All of the Pandemic games in third-person, but I don't suggest it. But well, and the rest are all first-person up until this point. One thing I forgot: Section 8 Prejudice. This one, it has a very interesting run mechanic, so even if the scenario is big, you will get wherever you want to go in a matter of seconds. So don't think the gameplay is not fast arena, it's not fast paced like an arena, but you won't spend a lot of time walking. No, not at all. I also like the deployment mechanic of this game. Scourge Outbreak. This one is the first third-person shooter out of all of these. It also has offline multiplayer against bots, as do all of these arena games that I want to showcase to rise the banner of the offline multiplayer against bots mode. And I would highly suggest you try this one, thank me later, if you liked Gears of War. If you ever played Gears of War, this is like Gears of War chapter. It's like an offspring, a spin-off of Gears of War, pretty much, with arena mode, with decent bots, not that tough, but if you like Gears of War, you should definitely try Scourge Outbreak. The precursor of this game, on PC, this one looks gorgeous because it uses Unreal Engine, pretty much. All of these games look awesome, more than you could possibly imagine. Because you must think, no, but they're old. No, they can't look that good. They do look that good. They do. Well, so try Scourge Outbreak. It's pretty much a Gears of War clone. Don't expect the level of quality of Gears of War, but this one has unlimited gameplay against bots. All of these have unlimited gameplay. God mode. Once again, if you like Gears of War, if you like Scourge Outbreak, try God mode. This one has a pretty nasty FPS cap at a curious number of 45. Yes, I don't know why, but it has an FPS cap of 45, if I remember correctly. But well, I have a G-Sync monitor, so it's not a problem. And well, if you like Gears of War, this is an arena-based Gears of War game. You fight endless waves of demons. Of course, there's a normal mode in which the waves aren't endless and you actually progress. So, if you like Gears of War, try Scourge Outbreak and God mode. God mode has a bit of a FPS cap, but it looks gorgeous as well. The Club from Sega. This one has a pretty interesting a reload mechanic and all of those things, but it's also similar to Gears of War. It's a third-person shooter. This one is also a third-person shooter, pretty much. The Club, it's a good game. The PC version is pretty good. It's kind of like, if you remember that Sega released Vanquish, which I have here. Well, this one is not like Vanquish, but Sega clearly they also released another game we are going to showcase if we have the time tonight. But Sega released some interesting third-person and third-person shooters. Sorry, they were all third-person shooters during this period. The Club is kind of like the original, and I highly suggest you try it. I like the artwork for the original icon. This is the artwork for the original icon, so I never changed it. The same for God mode. In the case of Scourge Outbreak and Suis, they were disgusting. This one was good. This one was disgusting. Pixelated. Star Wars Battlefront 2. This is a modded version. If you have an updated version of Battlefront 2, you can mod it with the Frost by engine modder or something like that. I don't know. this will pretty much launch a modded version of the game in which I can play battles of 64 bots against 32 bots against another 32 bots. And I'm not sure about 64 against 64. Well, no, I don't think so. And well, it's pretty epic. I like this game but only after I modded it. Otherwise, this game is trash. If you cannot mod this one, it's trash, because you can only play in battles of 5 versus 5, and the maps are huge. They look gorgeous. It's also modded to remove temporal anti-aliasing, which I also hate. So it looks even better. Because it doesn't have those muddy textures. So yeah, pretty much this one is absolutely epic, but just because I could mod it. If you cannot mod it, if you don't know how to mod it, I don't suggest this game. The campaign mode is pretty pathetic. The offline arena versus bots doesn't have enough slots for you to assign. So only if you can mod it, I would say that. But if you can mod it, the game looks great, it plays great. So it's a modern incarnation of Battlefront 2. It's not as good as Battlefront 2, the original. Evolve. Well, this one is also a modded version in which it doesn't communicate with the servers because they were shut down or whatever. This game died pretty quickly. I think the players complained a lot about the lack of balance between monsters and people. Pretty much the monster always win. The monster always won because they shut down the servers and it no longer exists. They still complain that the monster always wins nowadays if you try to play it. But well, I play against bots. It uses CryEngine. It's pretty gorgeous graphically. The gameplay is pretty good. So get a modded version for Evolve and enjoy gameplay with the bots, which aren't perfect, but they're good. I played a lot of matches. I use a lot of these arena shooters. You can play with the creature just in case you are fed up of dying. But no, I usually play with the Marines, and well, it pretty much does the job. If you liked Left 4 Dead 2, you will probably like this one to some extent. Because it's a different idea, but it's the same team behind Left 4 Dead 2. Or try Back 4 Blood in that case, but that one is online only, so I don't support those shitty policies. Killing Floor 2, probably the epitome of Left 4 Dead 2 gameplay. A lot of zombies, a lot of mutants. This game can get pretty nasty, pretty brutal, but it's worth it. The bots are certainly better than the ones present in Evolve and Battlefront 2. You can play it on your own, no problem, with the bots and everything. Highly recommended. World War Z, you cannot see it because my background is also red, precisely at that point, but this is World War Z, or Z, and this is also a third-person shooter. This one is a first-person, this one is both. And yeah, this one is pretty modern, fairly modern, so I haven't tried it. Rookskip. Well, Rookskip from Daedalus Entertainment. You must be wondering, how is it possible that you remember the developer behind that game and not a lot of the previous ones? Because this game gave me a lot of problems, gave me a lot of troubles, and it's a pretty interesting case. It's a good game, but you will see that the singular case of chess mixed with, yes, you heard it right, chess mixed with with chivalry. Yes, it's mixed with chivalry. The game I have right here for a reason. This game has kind of like the classic chess mode with a pretty good artificial intelligence. So if you want to have a game about chess, I suggest you get this one. It's pretty interesting. When you are about to quit the game, it will tell you will you scamper away in fear and shame. Duty calls and those things. It's pretty forgotten, and there's a version going around that this game wipes your HDD, or no, that it breaks something in your PC or something like that. But this game has never given me any kind of troubles. It's perfectly fine. People say that games from Daedalus Entertainment have those issues, that they cause problems. Well, but just bear in mind that you want to execute, to run, you want to run the 32-bit version, not the 64-bit version. That's the only thing. The 64-bit version simply won't work. It simply won't work. So if you use the 32-bit version, it plays perfectly. I think it has unlocked frame rates. It uses Unreal Engine. You can play chess. You can play. You can play a real-time combat mode similar to Chivalry Medieval Warfare. It's pretty similar, but it's in third person, not first person. I think, yeah, I think you can play it in first person. This one as well. Not sure. I think it's on. I played in third person. A pretty interesting case. This game deserves much more praise because it has a lot of game modes with a lot of interesting ideas. I think it's absolutely underrated. I know you weren't expecting it unless you were truly into melee combat, arena games / arena FPS games. But I highly suggest you try it. It's a AA game. It's not indie because it was made with Unreal Engine and Daedalus Entertainment. It's not the first game they develop. They have experience and they have good gameplay mechanics. Next up, Chivalry Medieval Warfare. Pretty much, this one is a classic. It needs no introduction. I can play offline against bots up to 64 because this is a modded version as well. This one doesn't need any kind of mods, so good for them. They are geniuses. Get Rooks Keep because it's a great game. This one as well. Well, this one is a classic, and then we have Morrowind, a modern installment of this subgenre. All of these are melee combat. These are not FPS games. Well, they are in some way FPS, but you don't shoot. You use the first-person camera. Well, Savage Resurrection. Well, this one, it's a mix. It's a perfect blend between RTS and first-person game and first-person shooters. Even though it uses melee combat similar to Morrowind and Chivalry Medieval Warfare. If you like real-time strategy combined with melee combat, first-person melee combat, in the vein of Chivalry, this one was made for you. This is a remake of the original Savage: The Battle for New Earth, and its sequel. The sequel, you can play it with bots, but it's not good because it's a mod, but it wasn't properly implemented. I highly suggest you try Savage Resurrection just in case you want to relive the good old days. People like to complain about this game, but I'm pleased with it. What are you gonna do? It has the gameplay system is solid. Don't think I'm stupid. The gameplay system is solid. The graphics are solid. I think it uses CryEngine or Unreal Engine. And it may take the loading times may be a bit long, but it's the best incarnation of the Savage series that is playable, because the other ones don't have bots. This one does have bots and updated graphics, so get this one. They deserve it, even though they have mixed reviews. I don't think I don't think they reflect reality at all. I need to be honest with all of you about this game. This is a pretty particular case, and no, it's a great game. You should definitely try this one out. Just as I told you about Rook's Keep. Battlezone is pretty similar to Savage Resurrection. This is the modern remake they did with tanks, with everything, pretty much the same. Real-time strategy mixed with using a tank in first person. You should try it. The community for this one is a bit more active than this one, but well, they are not perfect examples of communities that have endured the test of time. That's the case of Shadowrun, that's for sure. Shadowrun is also similar to Halo in some ways. That's why the community is still alive. Eximius is the front line. This one is pretty modern. I haven't tried it, but I think it's the same. I don't know, I cannot remember now, sorry, if this one combines real-time strategy with first-person combat, but I think so. It's a pretty interesting game, so you should try it because it's similar to this too, if I'm not mistaken. But if it's here right next to these two, I suspect I had a very good reason to do so. Immortal Redneck. Yes, most people know about Ziggurat, which I didn't like. Most people know about a lot of FPS roguelike games, but they usually never showcase Immortal Redneck. Immortal Redneck involves you shooting different creatures in ancient Egypt. It doesn't have as good graphics as the previous ones, but this game has very positive reviews and it deserves them, because you end up being a mummy like that, you can see it, and you shoot pretty much through hell and beyond. It has a lot of action. Remember, it's a roguelike. You die and you begin once again with different weapons, the same run, and it's randomly generated. City of Brass, a pretty similar case. These are all roguelike FPS games. I'll give you a lot of recommendations, but please try Immortal Redneck. Try Ziggurat. I didn't like it, but it may not be your case. Ziggurat 2, recently released, if I'm not mistaken. City of Brass. Mother Gunship. This one is epic. This game is epic. If you like floating damage numbers as much as I do, I love them. This one won't disappoint. It's much more modern than the previous two, so pretty much there you have the idea, and you should try Mother Gunship because this game has a lot of interesting gameplay mechanics that you will totally enjoy. I won't spoil it for you. Earthfall Invasion. This is no longer a roguelike. No, this is no longer a roguelike. These are the roguelikes I more or less have. I am not going to get Ziggurat. Earthfall Invasion was recently released. This one is much more similar to Battlefront, to Star Wars Battlefront, and also Left 4 Dead, because it involves defending positions and aliens and those things. Yes, if you like Left 4 Dead, look for some gameplay about Earthfall Invasion. Look for gameplay about every game I'm mentioning. I'm just using my memory. Angels Fall First, the same. These all have incredible multiplayer modes against bots, which are going to give you endless hours of replayability value. The replayability value of all of these games is awesome. Recently released was Aliens Fireteam Elite. This version is the best you could possibly get because this one is modded. And well, the bots are pretty good. Don't think they suck just because it's a mod with bots. Aliens Fireteam Elite, it's a legendary game. It's a legendary game, even though it has been recently released, but they just need to add more content. Remember to install the mod for the bots, because otherwise you can only play online. So if you install the mod for the bots, it'll be absolutely great. Trust me, you won't regret it. Trust me. Trust me, because you won't regret it. The mod is good. The artificial intelligence for the mod is good. The enemies are pretty good. On the highest difficulty, it'll be a challenge. I hated this game up until recently. This is a roguelike, and I learned to love it because it has a lot of interesting gameplay mechanics. I still do think the previous ones are better. This one has pretty simplistic graphics. The gameplay, it somehow resembles Fortnite, especially the graphical department, but it has a lot of perfectly executed roguelike elements that you will enjoy. If you like roguelike games, and if for some miserable reason you played Fortnite, which I suggest you don't do, Risk of Rain you'll probably like it. The interface is even similar. I suspect they used the base assets from Fortnite to develop this game just to get praise, but regardless of that, that's why I hated the game initially. I could verify that this is a great game and it has a lot of interesting roguelike mechanics. Please, developers, don't forget anything even remotely similar to Fortnite, because the community will hate it inherently. Or at least I will hate it inherently. Yes, it kind of like has that cheap vibe of lack of taste, of being tasteless regarding video games, of, I don't know, hating humanity, I don't know. So yeah, initially hated, now I love it. But well, not because of the graphics. I would totally revamp the graphics for this game, but well, I like the floating damage numbers. That's for sure. Deep Rock Galactic, get this one because this game is great. You can play it. All of these I play them alone, against bots, trying to push my abilities to the very limit. I don't like getting help from any friend at all. I don't like that. I like playing against the hardest possible scenario with all of the odds against me, and that's better than with just playing against the bots and on your own. Even though most of these you can play them cooperatively as well. I don't suggest you play them cooperatively because you will learn how to play better on your own, like making a mistake and learning from it. Gunfire Reborn. If you like Borderlands and you like roguelike games, this one is for you as well. Deep Rock Galactic, I don't have much to say because I love this game since the very day it was released. I love the fact that you can choose the different missions from the spaceship and the ambience and all, and the fact that you have to get through chunks of it's not gold, it's like kind of like dirt, cave dirt. It doesn't have pretty polished graphics, but it is quite good. Gunfire Reborn, mix between Borderlands and roguelike games, as I said. pretty much classic roguelike elements. This one is cooperatively. It's a cooperative game. This one is roguelike. This one is cooperative. This is like Battlefront 2. This is a mix between Left 4 Dead and well, a mix between Left 4 Dead 2 and yeah, facing endless waves. It's kind of like an endless mode. Well, but if you like Borderlands, Gunfire Reborn is the way to go. Since they closed Battleborn, which was also the same as Borderlands, well, this is a great alternative. See what happens when a game is online only. We lost Battleborn. I wanted to try that game and I couldn't because it's dead. The servers are shut down. That's why I cannot stand games which are online only. Verdam, Western Front, Tannenberg, Eastern Front, World War II games, the same for Land of War The Beginning. These ones are similar to these are kind of like Battlefield games done right, ladies and gentlemen. These games are great, and these games are what modern Battlefield games should be. Perhaps Battlefield 1, I haven't tried it. It's like that. I suspect this one will be one of my favorites once I play it. Once I play it. But for now, Tannenberg and Verdam, I love those games. These ones, while they weren't developed by a big company, they have gorgeous graphics. Be careful with that because a lot of AA indie games have pretty awesome graphical effects. Land of War The Beginning, the same could be said, but I like Tannenberg and Verdam with those custom covers much more. As you can see, I edited those covers. Then we have Insurgency Sandstorm. This one has pretty good bots. It's not about. This one is a bit more modern. I don't think it's about World War II, but also highly recommended. All of the ones, and we reached the end. All of the ones that I've showcased so far, you can play all of these offline against bots. You will be surprised as a highlight by Unreal Tournament 3, by a lot of them. But Bulb games usually have pretty good bots, but the other ones are pretty brutal as well, as I've been mentioning. Don't support games as a service. Instead, get all of these, which you can play against bots, and then if you want to play multiplayer, go ahead and play multiplayer with your friends, do so, but in the meantime, play against bots so you can sharpen your skills, and trust me, none of these will disappoint you. You will be thrilled by the experience all of these offline arena-based shooters have to offer. I will be showcasing a lot of these this year soon enough, because I truly think artificial intelligence is a department of the gaming industry, a part of the gaming industry which hasn't been fully exploited yet. Maybe the best recent example is, as I've said, Halo Infinite, but they need to mod that just so we can play against more bots. I don't know why they limited the amount of bots that you can place. And speaking about that, I need to relocate all of these games because they are not FPS games. But since we covered RTS previously, this one would be part of the real-time strategy row, but as you can see, I have no more room. Then I will see what I can do. I don't have enough time, please. But well, we are going to cover these ones tonight. This is the MOBA genre. And contrary to popular belief, contrary to popular and ignorant beliefs, MOBAs are pretty enjoyable offline without stupid teammates, without any kind of problem. Just so you know, I played a lot of Heroes of the Storm. I reached gold rank. I played a lot of Star Wars The Old Republic, which is an MMORPG, not reverse engineered, kind of like with all of the players and that. And I've discovered that I enjoy all of the MOBAs alone, against bots, when the bots are good. It's a perfect situation for me. Why? Well, easy. Easy. Because I enjoy the gameplay mechanics. I don't enjoy other people. I enjoy the gameplay, not the social experience, people. And it's perfectly fine, perfectly respectable, and I'm proud of it. And with that, I'm going to begin with Demigod. Pretty much, if you like offline, I think there's a time when I want to play online against real people, I'll grab a totally different game than all of these. I remember I played Destiny 2, for example, for some time, Star Wars The Old Republic, Heroes of the Storm, The Elder Scrolls Online, a lot as well. I explored all of the vanilla map for that one when it released. And yes, I played a lot of online games, but I feel much better with these at the end of the day, because I don't have to rely on internet or anything like that. Demigod, and if you agree with me, that it's great to have an option for offline MOBAs. If I want to play online, I play Heroes of the Storm. That's what I play. I love Blizzard characters. That's it. I think the game is underrated because it improved a lot of things which were a flaw in League of Legends and Dota 2. So for competitive online gameplay, I use Heroes of the Storm. But you won't see it here because I usually don't play nowadays. I don't want to have online games here. I have it somewhere else in my PC. Demigod. This game, if you agree with me, as I was saying, sorry, I lost the focus of my conversation or my dialogue. Demigod, or my monologue. Demigod is made for you. It was made for you, just like it was made for me. This is an offline MOBA. Yes, 100%. It was not meant to be played online. Yes. Pretty much it uses Warcraft 3 mechanics. It's much more modern than Warcraft 3. The pathfinding is much better. It has a lot of interesting perks and features. I highly suggest that if you want an offline MOBA, Demigod was made for you. Period. No doubt about it. It has also a pretty interesting art style, and you can play it endlessly. Dota 2, this is a modded version. I can play this one offline against bots. The bots here suck, and I'm looking for a mod to change them, to make kind of like the most overkill bots ever created, to have the most perfect bots, the most difficult bots that will give me a hard time, because I cannot understand how Bulb released such shitty bots for this one. I cannot understand how released this game with such terrible bots. There are a lot of mods. Well, no, there aren't a lot of good mods. There are a lot of mods, but not good. They are mostly horrible. It's difficult to program artificial intelligence for these games. So there's one but it doesn't work with this version. And I want this version to be to work with those mods. I still haven't been able to do so because they are usually for the standard version. And I want to have this version because this one is not only offline but also portable. Yes, I can simply drag and drop these game files and it will work on any PC. Yes, it's absolutely crazy, but that's it. Even though I play a lot of Dota 2, it has a lot of heroes, so I don't play it competitively at all as I did with, or as I do still a bit with Heroes of the Storm. But yeah, I enjoy myself. I try different heroes, I see how broken some of them are, and I don't have to worry about nerfs because that's a fixed version, it won't get updated. Guardians of Middle Earth, careful because this game was originally thought for consoles, and I may even suggest that you play this one with a controller because it was designed with consoles in mind. But you can also play it with the mouse and keyboard. You will feel the gameplay a bit clunky, not smooth at all, but it's playable. And this one is completely playable offline, perfectly fine. The servers were shut down long ago, so this is the only way you can play this game. This is the only way you can play this game. It's not a matter of choice in this case. No, it's not like Dota 2. Don't ask me to play League of Legends because I'm not going to play that pile of crap. No way, no way, no way. I don't like games which change. They constantly change the meta and and how liquid the line of thought is behind them. That you are constantly changing, that you are constantly balancing the game. If you have to balance a game so many times throughout the years and you have to deliver so many updates, it's because initially something was wrong with it. Lack of game modes, whatever. That's my philosophy. I'm sure none of you think as I do. But if you have to patch a game so many times to the point it's a totally different game when compared to the original game, at least something was wrong with the initial release. Play Guardians of Middle Earth. I think you have to do a small addition to the files in order to play this one above 30 FPS, because this one, as I've said, was thought with the PS3 and the Xbox 360 in mind. But once you do so, this game is great and you can pretty much use most of the Lord of the Rings characters from the movies. Highly suggested. Oh, next up, this is MOBA All-Star Legends. This is a mod. This game is fan-made and it's a mod of Heroes of New Earth. This game features MOBA heroes from all games, from all MOBA games ever created, and you can play offline. And if you like Heroes of New Earth, I highly suggest you try out this version, because Heroes of New Earth is only playable in Asian territories with Garena or something like that. It's pretty shady. The official servers shut down long ago. So if you want to experience Heroes of New Earth gameplay with even more heroes, this is kind of like the definitive version, completely playable offline once again. I don't know how good the bots are because I haven't thoroughly tested this game, but it has a big roster of heroes. Blood Sports TV, from the creators of Crater Shadows over Soulside. I think this one is a Swedish studio, I'm not sure, but the game looks... I remember this one. This game looks awesome. You can play it on your own and offline, of course. And this is pretty interesting because it's a mix between MOBA mechanics and facing endless waves of enemies which will um, push you to your limits, and it's pretty good, the concept behind this game. I highly suggest you try it. So this one is playable completely offline. I highly suggest you try this one if you like MOBA games, regardless of the fact that you may think that it's not made for you, that you want to play classic MOBAs, League of Legends, with your friends or whatever. Bloodsport CB was made for you. It's just like a MOBA, but without being a MOBA. Difficult to explain, but it's here because it's so similar to a MOBA. The graphical presentation is similar to Borderlands with cel-shaded graphics, but yeah, it has isometric camera, it has abilities, and you have to kill endless waves of enemies. Highly recommended. Get Balada Sports TV. This was the only icon I could get because of how forgotten this game is, but it's definitely a highlight in my collection. Then we have Awesome Notes, last but not least for the MOBA subgenre, for the offline MOBA subgenre. Awesome Notes. Awesome Notes is completely playable offline. This is a classic 2D game. This is a 2D game, but it's a MOBA. You can play against bots on your own, as I've said. See that it's a fallacy saying that you cannot play MOBAs on your own. It's an absolute fallacy. I play Heroes of the Storm online, and then I use all of these for offline play, of course. And this one is 2D, pretty interesting. If you want a 2D MOBA, it's pretty original, the idea, you should try this one. These ones should be part of the real-time strategy and real-time tactics row we explored yesterday, but they couldn't fit, and they are somehow different because these are real-time strategy games, but with a 3D environments. I mean, they have 6 axes. It's not just like your classic RTS game, because Hamworld, well, this one may be Hamworld Deserts of Karak, Sins of a Solar Empire, you can move your ships. These are like classic real-time strategy games with base building elements, but you can send your ships above the enemy or below according to a lot of different mechanics. They are a bit more complex than classic RTS games. This is the remastered collection. It includes 1 and 2, so we're waiting for Hamworld 3. That's for sure. I am, at least. It's a classic. I hope it will be a classic as much as these were. The remastered collection is great. You have unlocked resolutions, so blah 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 blah. Hamworld Deserts of Karak. I don't know if this one has that sense of depth, but Sins of a Solar Empire, Ancient Space do as well. These ones are 2D. These ones doesn't have that depth, which is difficult to explain. That you can move your units in 3 dimensions, let's say. No, this one is kind of like a board. This is Battlefleet Gothic Armada. From the creators of Ethereum, Focus Home Interactive. After creating Ethereum, they developed Battlefleet Gothic Armada 1. This one had a lot of updates. Great game from the Warhammer universe. This was among my Game of the Year candidates for 2016. Could it be it was released? Yes, because Ethereum was 2016. This one is or 2017. I'm not sure. Well, the sequel it's glorious. Get both of these games. The icons. This one is a bit pixelated, but well, they are pretty awesome with this call and everything. And we get to the final part, the final subgenre. So this is kind of like the space real-time strategy, classic real-time strategy genre. These few games. These are space real-time strategy games. I know they are difficult to find nowadays. If you have any suggestions, please send them. Please comment, because I want to expand this section. Not here, I'll probably move that one. Alright, Pikmin clones. Well, Pikmin clones, just we can understand each other. Yes, these are all Pikmin clones. I love Pikmin 1, I love Pikmin 2, I love Pikmin 3, I love Hey Pikmin from the 3DS, even though that's a 2D platforming game. But if you like Pikmin 1 or 2, you should play Overlord 1, Raising Hell. This game is tough as nails. This game is brutal. I played through it. I couldn't beat it. I couldn't beat this game yet. I have the save file. And I had to mod the game to get 1080p and unlocked resolutions. So yeah, it's a shame that you should play this one with a controller. You can play with a keyboard, and I think that was my mistake so long ago. Overlord 2, recently released, Kena Bridge of Spirits. It's also like Pikmin in some way. I haven't tried this one, it's way too modern. Masters of Anima, also like Pikmin. These are strategy games, 3D strategy games with Pikmin mechanics. But this one is isometric. This one has an isometric camera. Pretty good. I don't know why people forget about this one. Masters of Anima. And the Undead Horde. Undead Horde, pretty much like that. But you use zombies and you end up destroying civilization. Civilization. All of these games are pretty good. Mousecraft is not like Pikmin. Mousecraft is like Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis from the DS. Do you remember that game? If you remember that game, well, get Mousecraft because it's the same. Not as good as Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis, or Mario vs. Donkey Kong Miniland Mayhem, but I highly suggest you try Mousecraft if you like those games. It's similar because this is a strategy, but it's not a classic. It's the only game which is like, which I have, which is similar to Mario vs. Donkey Kong, except for the last one, which is Flockers. See, I barely have room. Yeah, I wanted to move all of those. But well, you had recommendations for everything. Pikmin clones, space real-time strategy with real-time tactics in the case of this one, of these ones. Offline MOBAs, we finally debunked the myth of, because I've seen a lot of forums in which people say it's a MOBA, it's meant to be played online. Why? Because it means, I don't know what the M stands for, but it's Online Battle Arena. Massive Online Battle Arena, could it be? Or Mobile Online Battle Arena. Massive Online Battle Arena, I think it was. Basically, the descendants of the Defense of the Ancients 1 mod from Warcraft 3. Pretty much, there's no reason for me to play them online. Make me. I'm not doing so. So I play all of this on offline, and it's perfectly fine. They are all portable except for Demigod. And yes, when you have no Wi-Fi, you will remember this ball. I'm sure of it. But in the meantime, if you like those offline MOBAs, well, I have already given you the knowledge. No one will give you, because everyone will tell you if you ask them, give me an offline MOBA for my holidays. I'm going on vacation. I'm going to the beach and I want an offline MOBA because I don't like the beach. And they will tell you, no, MOBAs are only playable online. You can only play MOBAs online. Yeah, the same for MMORPG games, as I proved previously. No, you can play some of these games. It's true, you cannot play all of them, but it's the ones you need to play for both the MMORPG genre and the MOBA genre completely offline, on your own, without anyone bothering you, without anyone telling you that you are breaking guild rules, without stupid updates which are going to nerf your favorite character. I hate all of those things. Without internet connection going down. Yeah. Here you will have unlimited freedom. So, we also covered arena shooters against bots. Here you have dozens upon dozens. If you have any other I forgot about, I know about more than these, but I have the ones which have presentable graphics and presentable gameplay. If you know what I mean. If after all of these recommendations you go ahead and play Fortnite, sorry, you are beyond what I could possibly do. What is physically possible to do to fix your mind. If after all of these arena shooters with godlike bots, you go ahead and play Fortnite, you clearly hate my channel, you clearly hate bots and artificial intelligence and the development of the gaming industry, so do us all a favor and try any of all of these games that I presented to you. They all have great bots and you will fall in love with these offline arena games. Mod them, learn how to mod them, learn how to fix the resolution if it's needed, learn how to use modded, how to fix the flaws the developers did with these games. These 3 Call of Duty games, they are a beauty, playable on your own, without anyone bothering you, killing as many zombies as you want for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. They are absolutely glorious. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it for tonight, and sorry that I arrived late, but well, I fulfilled the schedule because I wanted to showcase this for all of you. Besides the schedule that I don't want to leave you without the stream, I wanted to give you these exclusive game recommendations, especially dedicated for followers of the channel, or dedicated to followers of the channel. Sorry, the preposition. Sorry, to followers of the channel, to fans of the channel, to YouTube subscribers, and you will have plenty to choose from. I hope my knowledge was useful. I hope my knowledge was useful for all of you. That's the idea, to learn from each other, and these are all of my suggestions. These ones I should have commented about all of these ones which are for the RTS genre. They belong to the RTS genre, but we had reached the 3-hour mark and they were in a different row. Well, more surprises to come when we meet again on Thursday with the 4th row, which will be third-person shooters, platformers, 3D platformers, not 2D, 3D platformers, and hack and slash. Oh, a very interesting case, a very interesting genre to explore. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure sharing these nights of first-person shooter recommendations, first-person shooter arena recommendations, Pikmin clones, space RTS games, offline MOBAs, offline MMORPGs. Well, those ones we did during the first stream. So great. Have a great night and see you all on Thursday. We're going to continue, and then I have a lot of gems to showcase with some gameplay for all of you. Have a great night. See you all on Thursday. It's been my pleasure.